start this off by acknowledging that we are in the land of the Coast Salish, Squamish, and Musqueam First Nations. Um, Also, this is our second time trying to record this. The first attempt ended in a horrendously clicky audio file that just could not be saved. So here we are.
Yeah.
Crazy. How was your day, Sam?
Long and boring, but I'm here now, so it's all
Amazing.
good.
We'll try and make it a little bit better. I'll do this in a little bit of a different order than we did last time because I feel like we're just gonna have the same conversation, which is certainly by no means a bad thing. But let's start it off a little bit differently.
All right.
What are your plans going forwards as an adult competitive climber? Because I know you only have 1 year left competing in youth. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I was hoping I'd get an extra year, but of course COVID happened. So, I don't know. I'm kind of not thinking about it too much right now. I'm gonna probably reevaluate closer to the end of the season, but I'm hoping to continue competing, maybe more semi-competitively, and not full time like I am now.
All right,
But
that's fair enough. You are putting quite a bit into it right now, aren't you?
yeah, I am.
A lot's going on. As far as training goes, I would love to touch on that. I'm curious about what your training looks like from week to week and between cycles. So, as an athlete that competes, I'm sure you have times where you're training a lot harder, or you're spending a lot more time climbing, spending time off the wall. What does that look like for you? Like, what would be a really intense week, and what would be maybe a pretty chill week after a competition?
Yeah, so right before a competition, a couple practices before, we usually focus less on the training and more on like on the wall climbing, and also just tone it down a lot. So just longer rests in between climbs, uh, like very light conditioning, uh, just to have our bodies be in a healthier, hopefully less injured spot for competitions. And then afterwards, we kind of usually we take a couple sessions just to reflect on the competition, have discussions and stuff with our coaches, which is really helpful. And then we just kind of pick up and move on to the next competition, really.
All right. I'm curious about what those discussions would be like. What is something that you'd usually go over, and have you learned anything through going back and looking at yourself?
Yeah. Usually we talk about, we get feedback from our coaches on things we did really well and things we could work on. And then we'd also give feedback or our thoughts on the competition. And for me, it's been really helpful, at least the last season, which was my first season competing. My first couple comps, I didn't realize how important like the mental game was. So I was kind of just going in and saying, okay, I'm going to go up the wall. Let's go. And so I came back from my first competition. I was like, wow, that was not what I expected. And then my coaches gave me feedback on stuff that I wasn't doing so much, like resting, stretching, stuff like that. So yeah, they've been amazing.
Cool. I guess the mental aspect of competing is so big. It's such a complex sport to climb up things. But were there any like shockers for you in that first competition? Like things that you weren't expecting to happen that did happen, or how you felt to be overwhelming?
Yeah, I was really shocked that I ran out of time on the first competition. So the first comp I did was like a free-for-all style where we had 3 hours to just climb as many climbs as we could. And I was like, wow, 3 hours, that's so long. That's like an entire practice session. I have so much time. So I kind of just went into it really relaxed and tried a couple climbs here and there. And then like the last half an hour came along. I'm like, oh no, I have to climb. How I was so rushed and so panicked. Um, it was a lot, but yeah, that was a good learning experience on time management, which is way more important when you do a different format of climbing, which is 5 on 5 off, where you have 5 minutes to climb a boulder, a 5 minutes rest, and then on to the next. So that was a good introduction.
Cool. Yeah, that does sound like a very differently formatted comp. Would this be one of the more open competitions that the Hive throws?
Yeah, something similar. So this comp was at Project Climbing Cloverdale, but the Hive also throws similar ones, I believe.
Yeah, I've competed in something similar, though it was a dino comp, so it's just like silly dinos, and you get 2 or 3 hours to do as many as you can, but
Yeah,
never anything like that. But that does sound like a lot of fun.
yeah, it was great.
Cool. Are there any other climbing gyms in the area that you go at? So you just mentioned like Project Cloverdale. Do you ever go to Base 5 or Nice, or I don't know what the gym is called? Genesis?
Yeah.
Nice?
Nice.
The rock
PC climbing or Project Climbing Cloverdale and Nice are really too far for practices. Usually we just train at the Hive in like all its different locations. We go to the Base 5 gyms, like especially the North Shore one or the Edge for rope climbing. And also the Richmond Oval we go quite a bit too. That place is awesome. If you haven't been, I don't know.
I've poked my head in it once, but I've never actually climbed there.
Oh, you should.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Whoa. They do they have a bouldering wall?
It's really short but long. But the setting there is pretty good. So
Have to go one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen their lead wall, and it looked really impressive.
Very, very impressive.
Yeah, that's really cool. Definitely worth a check out. I didn't realize you guys went there to train.
Yeah, it's we went quite a bit over the summer. Usually now we go as much as we can, which is like once a month, unfortunately. But yeah.
Whoa. So is there anything about their facilities that makes it worth the trip out?
Mainly just the size and the quality of setting at their lead wall. It gives us a really good chance to try like really hard comp style lead climbs.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really cool, and obviously that's not really something offered by the Hive, so it's good
No.
to get out and
Yeah.
try on some stuff that you'll be competing on. As far as the climbing team goes, I know you're on the Swarm team, right?
I am, yeah.
As well as the BC climbing team.
Yes, yeah.
What was the process of getting onto the teams? Like, did you reach out? Did you reach out, or did someone come in contact with you? Like, what happened?
It's been a while and I kind of forget the details, but I'm pretty sure I just saw Christian Core, who's the head coach, and Andrew, who's the owner of the Hive gyms. I'm pretty sure I saw them at either it was just a random time with climbing or one of the gyms opening. I can't remember, but I saw both of them, and then I'd known them previously because I've been climbing at the Hive since day one. So we kind of just struck up a conversation. I was like, "Oh, I've been wanting to compete," and Christian and Andrew were like, "Oh, wow, you should join the Swarm team over the summer just to try it out." And so I did that, and that went really well. That was really fun. And right as September was rolling around, they're like, "Hey Sam, you should do Swarm team full time. Seems like a great fit for you." And it's been going great since then.
Cool. How long have you been on it?
Well, that was summer 2019, so yeah, quite a
Amount
while.
of time. Yeah. So pre-COVID even. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. And what happened for the Team BC? How did that go down?
Well, you kind of just qualify for it through local competitions and then provincials and regionals and nationals, I believe. There's like different levels to it, like bronze and then silver and gold team. So I'm only on the bronze team this year, which is fine. Hoping to make it higher, but yeah, you just kind of qualified for it. You don't like apply or anything.
Okay. I had no idea. And I hope in the future maybe I'll see you on the gold team. That'd be pretty cool. Good luck. I know you mentioned Christian Core, and I'm curious if you could tell us who he is, a little bit about him, and if you've learned any lessons from him, because he is quite a legend in the climbing community.
Yeah, quite the legend. Yeah, he's an amazing climber. one of the most legendary climbers to exist, really. He climbed the first V16, for those who don't know him, which is simply incredible. Like, I can't even imagine climbing a V16. That's just way beyond my understanding. But he, because of his expertise and like his experience, he's an excellent coach, and yeah, he's taught me a lot of things. His I don't want to say his favorite lesson, but the thing he tells us most in practices is um, be really focused when you climb and try hard, because a lot of the times you just kind of go through the motions and your body just goes, but you need that mental push to kind of engage yourself and to um, push your body beyond what you think you can get it to. So
kind of like getting off autopilot mode a little bit.
exactly, yeah.
I remember the one lesson I learned from him that will always stick with me is precision, trying to be really precise with climbing.
Yes. Yes.
But that is such an important thing to do, and often overlooked, I would say, especially for people who climb as much as you do. As people who spend a lot of time on the wall, it gets very like autopilot-y. You just kind of start moving. You find yourself at the top sometimes, and
I agree. Yeah,
it's hard to engage with it, but it's a good thing to do to really click into your brain. As far as your team goes, are there any other people that inspire you, or just any local climbers?
yeah. They're not on the team anymore, but they were for a really long time. Guy and Kinder McNamee. They're up and coming. I don't want to say up and coming because they've been in the scene for a number of years, but they're just incredible climbers. I mean, if you're involved or follow the climbing scene at all, you'll know their names. They have been to world championships and lead in bouldering, and got gold medals in all sorts of competitions. It's just ridiculous. So just training with them is such a privilege, and so fun and helpful at the same time, and inspiring, of course. And like, they're my age, so being able to train with people that are my age who are doing these crazy inhuman things, it's like, wow, that's a goal I can reach, right? And they're right in front of my face training alongside me. That's insane. So yeah, that's been amazing. Unfortunately, they're not on the swim team anymore because they aged out last year, but they're still very much an inspiration to me.
Yeah, I'm sure they're an inspiration for many at the Hive. I was certainly incredibly inspired when I saw them climb, and it must be incredible to have someone or multiple someones to chase after at that level. It is a beautiful thing to have someone to push you just a little bit beyond every time, to have someone to see and I guess emulate.
Yeah.
I found, especially for harder climbing, it's very easy to think something's impossible until you can see someone else do it.
Very, very true. Yeah.
You see them and you're like, oh, that's how you do it. And it feels a lot better after that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a great thing to have people that are a little bit better than you to climb. I mean, that's why I like climbing with you, Sam.
Aw.
No, totally.
Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to take it back a little bit. I'm curious as to what little Sam was like.
Okay. Just like in general, or like
In
related
general.
to climbing?
Well, I just in general, because this isn't necessarily a climbing question, but I'm just curious about how people get to where they are. So, like, what would
Okay.
you say you started as?
Funnily enough, I was a very energetic and off the walls, haha, funny pun, kind of kid. But I would just go crazy, and I was I was actually held back a year because I had a late birthday, but also allegedly from my mom. I was held back also because I was so energetic that she didn't want me sitting in a class in kindergarten. So, um, yeah, I was kind of a crazy kid.
That's fair enough. Do you have ADHD?
Uh, Possibly. My dad actually got recently diagnosed, so
The odds are in your favor.
in my favor, yes.
Definitely. But it's a very common thing, and a lot of rambunctious children get diagnosed. Some get misdiagnosed, but it's a surprisingly common one. I mean, I certainly have it.
Yeah.
And what age do you get into climbing?
Um, Around 7 or 8, I believe, is when I first started. Uh, I started. How did the story go? I'm pretty sure. Uh, so at one of the local swimming pools I went to quite often as a kid, they had this temporary climbing wall, like on the edge of the deep end. So I would go there and just go up, like do laps on the thing. Like I'd go up, jump off really high, fall, and then go right back on.
Starting with some deep water solo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just loved that thing. And so one of the lifeguards just happened to be a boulderer, and so he's like, "Wow, this kid is kind of crazy. He seems really interested in this." So I came up to my mom and I, and was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this gym called Cliffhanger? You should go there sometime. It seems like you'd love it." So as soon as I looked it up online, I was like, "Wow, I need to go right now." Little baby me was so excited. So yeah, I got a day pass like pretty soon after, and I was just hooked. It was like my new favorite thing. Um, for anyone who's been to Cliffhanger, you know it's like um, it's mostly top rope and lead climbing, but then they also have like a very small bouldering section up top. So what I would do is I would go in with my harness and everything to go top rope climbing, and then I would just drop it and go up to the bouldering wall. I would just ignore all the, like the entire focus of that gym and just go boulder. Um, that was I didn't like ropes that much. Still don't really as much as bouldering, but yeah. And then I can't remember how long after, but then the hive opened right next door, and that was a pretty easy switch for me. Yeah, and then climbing ever since.
Cool. Damn, so you started before the hive opened.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that was very crazy to think about.
Yeah. No, I definitely know the little cliffhanger section you're talking about, and if you haven't been, it's just like a space that's maybe 5 or 6 meters with a little L, and there's a roof section,
Yeah,
and just a bunch of mats, and it's like a tenth the size of a normal bouldering gym, but I can definitely see you running around up there.
yeah. I mean, when you're really small, that place kind of feels big. So, I definitely climbed there for a long time.
That's so cool. Damn, so you've really been going at it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, not super consistently, because of time issues and health issues, but yeah.
So when you started, were you going consistently, or was it just like a weekend or every couple of weeks type deal?
Um, for a while, it was just like every week, like once a week maybe. Um, and then once the hive opened, I think I was going like 2, 3 times a week. When I could climb. So, yeah,
Cool. Damn, start early. That's a
yeah,
it's a great thing to do. But it takes a rare kid to really be into that.
yeah,
I tried so many things as a kid, nothing would stick until I started climbing.
yeah.
But
It's an addictive thing, right?
oh my lord, totally, totally. It's a special sport for sure. I don't think there's much like it. So it's
Oh,
it's
really?
cool like that. But what was I gonna ask you? Um, right. What is your proudest send?
Proudest send. I'd have to say my most recent one and my highest grade one, I guess. Um, because I haven't really been climbing outdoors for very long, or that many times actually at all. But it'd probably have to be Tatanka in Squamish, which is a V9. Uh, That's kind of a funny story of descent that when that happened, because it was actually raining and sunny at the same time. Or wait, was it sunny?
Did you get a little rainbow?
I don't think it was sunny. Never mind. It was raining. It was just raining, and yeah, it was raining, and I still sent it, and that is, I'm pretty proud of that.
Fucking V9 in the rain. You should be. That's no easy feat. How many times do you think you'd been climbing outdoors before then?
Before then, the summer before, I climbed quite a bit, but mostly on ropes. Uh, so not much bouldering. Maybe like count on both my hands how many times I could go, or that I went before then.
Damn,
So
that's sick. That's
yeah,
really cool. You got a lot of Squamish to explore then.
a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot of boulders out there.
Mhm.
Do you have any indoor projects that stand out to you?
Indoor projects. It's kind of hard to find an indoor project, to be honest, but because they change them so often. But between all the gyms we go to, there's always something I'm working on.
Yeah, that's
So
fair. Um, how do you usually project climbs? Like, do you find something that you are really motivated to do and work on it for like a month, or is it usually like a few sessions at most, and otherwise it doesn't go?
um, usually it depends because we go to different gyms or different hive locations depending on the day of the week. So I can, like, say we go to the North Shore gym one day a week. I would only get, I could try it over 3 sessions, but that's over 3 weeks, which kind of sucks for projecting, honestly. But most of the time, I'd try it just every session if I'm really hooked on it, and just keep going until either it's reset or it goes. Um, yeah, I only give up if it's something that I just know I'm not physically strong enough to do yet. Uh, whether it be like finger strength or like flexibility or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like how you said yet. It's always gonna
yeah, yeah,
improve. That's the secret right there. Just keep getting better.
yeah.
Truly. Um, do you have any dream climbs outside that you want to do?
Dream climbs. Not for bouldering. Just because I haven't looked into it that much. But one that just keeps coming up in like my social media feeds ever, and just word of mouth, is the legendary Dreamcatcher climb in Squamish. Uh, I don't lead that much, but that route is special, and I'd really love to even just play around on it for like a day and just see what the holds are like, because it just, the line is incredible. I'm sure you know.
It is a pretty incredible climb. And who's the first person that did it?
Chris Sharma.
Sounds like a legendary dude.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, he did it in moccasins.
Did he really?
He did. The first attempt, or first ascent of Dreamcatcher in mocks.
Wow. Very cool.
Can't believe it. Those shoes are terrible for everything, except for being the best shoe out there. But he heel hooked this entire thing in moccasins.
Crazy.
Total beast. On the subject of gear, I am curious about climbing gear. As someone who's climbed a long time, I'm sure you've gone through God knows how many climbing shoes.
Yes.
Do you have any that stand out to you as really good? Things that have worked for you as far as shoes go?
Yeah, right now I have two different pairs of shoes that I wear. One for like normal training days and like comp climbs, and then another pair for like outdoor climbs and like things that have really small feet. So I have my comp shoes are like really soft. They're Tenaya Oases, I think they're called. They're like the light blue ones, but they're extremely soft. So like volumes are a breeze. I love those things, and they fit my foot perfectly, which is generally what you want for a climbing shoe. Which is why I've been using them for so long. Because my feet, I don't know what's wrong with them, but I can't fit most popular climbing shoes. So it is what it is. And then my other pair, I got them recently. They're Scarpa something or others. The orange ones with like the ridges on the toes.
The Instincts.
That's it. That's it. Thank you.
You got the orange ones, so that's with the stiffer rubber, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I had a pair of the softy blue ones, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
They're fantastic shoes.
Maybe I should try those then.
Yeah, I mean, it's just grip instead of edge rubber, which I think is better. They probably die a little bit quicker, but that's half the fun, right?
Yeah, you gotta drop another. What? How much are they? $200 now?
Yeah, something like that. It's a not a cheap hobby, not a cheap hobby. Definitely always sucks blowing through shoes, but just curious. Are there any shoes in the past that you've really liked that you don't wear anymore?
I wore the tarantulas for most of my early climbing life, I guess. Both the lace ones and the Velcro. I don't know. They just kind of worked, and they were like the cheapest option.
Yeah. What grade did you get to in tarantulas?
What grade?
Yeah, climbing grade.
I don't know what you mean. Sorry.
Were you climbing 4 hexes, 5 hexes in tarantulas?
Oh, yeah. I was getting up to like 5 hexes on those things. So, yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
They work.
Shoes are shoes. Can't be a bad climber with bad footwear.
Yeah.
It's all about how you climb, not the shoes.
I mean, hey, sometimes people on the swim team forget their climbing shoes and have to wear like the Hive rentals. And every time Christian makes like a joke about like, hey, it'll improve your footwork for this session, so it's a good thing you forgot. And it is it's always pretty funny, but it's true. I mean, try doing slab and Hive rentals, and it's
it's a different game.
It's a very different game.
With the non-marking gray rubber, you don't stick to anything.
No, not at all.
Are there any other gear things you like? Do you have any like chalk companies you really enjoy, or chalk buckets or anything? Anything you'd want to shout out?
I don't know. I'm not too particular on like just normal loose chalk, because to me it's just chalk is chalk. But liquid chalk has been very particular for me because I sweat a lot in my hands, so I go through bucket loads of that stuff. I've been liking the Mammut chalk a lot. I don't know. It feels like it adds texture to my hands somehow, and it stays longer. So
cool.
Yeah, I love it.
That's a recommendation. I also have the sweaty hands problem, so I'm always looking for ways to combat it. You know, actually hold on to the wall for once. It's a rare occurrence.
Yes.
Totally. I'm curious about the mental game of climbing, because I think it's such a big part of it.
Very big, yeah.
Huge. So, do you have any mental tricks you use, things you practice, just in day to day, to keep you sharp for climbing?
Yeah. This is a trick I use a lot during comps, but sometimes also when I'm like preparing to do like a project of mine or like a flash attempt of a hard climb. So something I do to like clear my mind and kind of like get in the headspace, you know. So I'll just like find like either an object or like a point, usually on the ground, especially at comps where there's like all the spectators yelling at people and all the loud music and stuff like that. So I'll kind of just block them out and find a spot. It could be literally anything, like someone's shoe or something, I don't know. And then I'll try to like analyze every single part of it. So like what the texture would be like, if I flicked it, what sound would it make? I would try to like find a hidden face in it, like you do with clouds or something. Like just completely dive into it, which sounds really strange. Like take a shoe, for example, you're just staring at someone's shoe for like a minute long. It's crazy, but it really works because your mind just blocks everything out and gets totally invested in this random thing. And I found that really works for me, just to kind of clear my head and get focused.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely the mental preparation before trying something hard is so crucial, because you need to have the right headspace going in, but you also need to know the sequence that you're going to do. So,
Yes.
is there anything that you do to read climbs that you think is helpful? Like, what's your strategy around going up to a boulder? Like, let's say you're going to try a flash on a hard climb for you. You think you could flash it? What does that look like?
Yeah. So that's honestly one of my weaknesses is reading beta, especially on comp climbs. But typically, I would try to like imagine myself on the wall, and specifically focus on like every single micro beta. So like exactly where this specific part of my shoe is gonna go in this hold, and then like every single movement. So not just gonna be like foot here, hand here, right here. Try to be like really specific about it. And then once I think I have an idea for what is probably gonna work, then I close my eyes or look somewhere else, and then I would try to remember my sequence and the holds and what they're like, and then from the bottom up. And if I can remember, then I'm good to go. Because like I remember, yeah.
Yeah. So you know that when you're there fumbling around, your brain will have known that it had to do something.
Yes.
So okay. That's a cool trick. I've never thought about looking away and trying to analyze it just from memory. So I'll definitely try and do that in the future.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a great tip. Never even thought of that. Brilliant.
I can't remember if that was a tip from my coaches or not. It probably was.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian is a great coach, and I'm sure there's many others. I know. Is Jeff Thompson right?
Yes. Yeah. He is. He's also amazing.
Super brilliant. I had lots of conversations with him when I used to work at the Hive. Or not lots, but I don't know. He came off as a very well-educated coach.
For sure. Yeah.
I am curious about what value you find in climbing.
What value I find
Like,
in it.
What do you get out of it? Like, what keeps you coming back? And yeah, I guess just that. What do you get out of it? What keeps you coming back?
Yeah. For me, it's a couple different things. I find it to be quite a therapeutic thing because when I go into it, I just kind of go with the flow, and it's a way for me to like ground myself, especially after like a long week or something, and then I can just ignore everything else in my life and just go up the holds, right? Just that the physical exercise of it also really helps. If you're just sitting around all day and then you get some exercise and it's something you love to do, and it's just amazing.
It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, it's great. I also really love like the problem solving of it, like trying to read some wacky beta that the crazy setters made up. That's really, really fun, especially like when you're with a bunch of friends and you're all brainstorming together. Like that feeling is that's what keeps me coming back, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a strong sense of community amongst climbers.
Very, very strong.
Yeah, it's a beautiful community. Though I find most like tight knit, more extreme niche sports tend to be because everyone has this baseline respect for each other, which I think is a beautiful thing. And I mean, at our gym, the Hive, there's a lovely community, some awesome people there.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I going on about? Community and people. Why do you keep going back? Right. Sorry for being so disorganized.
It's all right.
You've obviously put a lot of your life into it. Would you say that you've sacrificed things for climbing, or would it just be the way that you want to live your life?
To be honest, the way I want to live my life, I've definitely had to focus a bit less on schoolwork some nights because I go straight from school to climbing and then squeeze in a tiny bit of homework and then back to sleep. But I've been able to balance it all right. So I don't say I've sacrificed too much.
That's fair. And I mean, you've gained a lot.
Yes,
definitely. It's a great thing to have in your life, I would say. Are there any lessons you've learned from climbing that you apply to yourself or your mindset as a person?
I mean, The mental game can apply to like many different situations, um, especially like if I'm getting overwhelmed or like feel like I'm getting a bit too frustrated with something, then I can use my tricks to like calm myself down a little bit sometimes. Um, but yeah, climbing is such a big part of my life, so I can kind of um, how to put this, kind of like mesh it in with the rest of my life, and just it's kind of like one big thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a part of life in that way. Um, One lesson I've learned that I thought was very impactful was just that you can kind of do things if you keep smashing your head at the wall for long enough.
Yes, that's
Just
true.
what persistence prevail when all else fails, and it's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, but climbing definitely taught me that. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
as far as the whole mentalness of climbing, how do you find that your ability to climb consistently and well affects your mental health?
Uh, Quite a lot actually. When COVID hit and all the gyms shut down, that was pretty tough for me because, like I said, it's so therapeutic. Um, uh, Not climbing consistently is pretty tough because then I only get like that therapy session or whatever less often, right? So naturally, it would be worse for my mental health. But yeah, it's a big part of my life, so it's a big part of my mental health as well.
No, definitely. And I know it's easy to beat up on yourself when you're not feeling good on the wall. They
Yes,
often go hand in hand.
yes, that's really hard for me, especially right now, because we just came back from like a temporary-ish break over the summer from climbing, so now like my performance is gone.
Shot down a bit.
Yeah, so I'm trying to tell myself, hey, it's okay. It's just natural that your body needs to catch up. So
Definitely. And
yeah,
you can't be running in high gear all the time. It's not sustainable by any stretch.
very true.
It's a great
Yeah.
way to get injured. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, you definitely need periods of feast and famine. You know, some rest, some lots of activity. But I found it always comes back as long as you keep up the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
It'll come. I
oh,
know.
100%, 100%. Um, as far as injuries go, I'm curious about your history with injuring yourself because no one can climb up a wall consistently and be unscathed by it.
Yeah. I haven't had any like crazy injuries like a lot of people I've heard of. Um, I've like pulled my hamstring quite a few times, uh, which sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I've got like the typical strain in my finger, almost pulled like a tendon or something. I don't know, but really nothing too bad.
From crimping?
Yeah, crimping.
Oh, always fun. Then you used to get ingrown toenails.
Yeah, I did for a really long time as a kid. It was like a recurring thing every year at the same time. I get them, but like really bad, where I could barely wear like normal shoes, let alone climbing shoes, which are like skin tight, right? So uh, that really sucked when I was starting to climb because I couldn't keep up the consistency, right? Like 4 or 5 months out of the year, I couldn't climb.
Whoa, would it really take you out for that whole time?
Yeah, really. Um, and like every year, I would have to get a surgery, so that would put me back even after the surgery because the healing times. So that was really not great.
Yeah, it's a lot of time away from the wall, but
Yeah.
also pain. It hurts.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Man, is it ever painful. I used to get so many ingrown toenails when I would sail a lot.
Sail.
I used to sail.
Wow.
Tried a lot of things. That was one of them. And my God, it sucked. Had like 3 years straight of different ingrown toenails. But luckily, that was before I started cramming my feet into tiny little climbing shoes. So I managed to avoid that dreadful pain.
Oh, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I really could not imagine. That sounds pretty intense, really. Um, damn. All right. gonna step in a bit of a different direction now.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what you're currently doing for your education, for your work.
Right. So, as a few of my friends would know, I'm doing this program that my high school, or not my high school, the VSB offers, called Youth Work and Trades, and that basically just lets me start working in whatever trade I want while I'm still in my grade 12 year. So I chose to be an electrician, and I've been doing that full time since May. So 5 months, 6 months. It's been going great, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I hear you wake up rather early. What time do you usually get up, Sam?
Yeah, I usually wake up at like 5:20 in the morning.
Damn. And what time does your work start?
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah,
Oh wow. So well, at least you get off early.
that's true. Getting off at 3 is nice.
But damn, that's a hell of a work day for
Yeah.
full time. So it's a lot to pursue. But do you see the future in it for you? Is this something you're looking to pursue, or just like a good plan to have?
Yeah, I definitely do see a future in it for me. It's such a There's so many different paths you can take as an electrician. Uh, some I definitely don't want to do. Some I really want to do. Uh, so I just kind of like a big question mark, to be honest. Kind of just feeling my way through it. Um, Once I get my ticket in like about 4 years, I'll have a better idea. But I started it just as like a backup plan because, to be honest, outside of this, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just do this. And then it's a nice backup plan to have. So,
Yeah, definitely. It's 100% something that can support you for your life. So not a bad thing to do. But freaking, who knows what they want to do? That's a question and a half for sure.
yeah,
What a challenging thing to come up with.
especially in high school.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
It is quite a lot of expectation placed on young people, but I don't know. My experience with it has just been go along with whatever you're doing, and usually if something should change, you'll see it, and just having the direction is so important.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you don't have a course to go, you'll never realize that you need to change it.
Yeah, that's very true.
But keep going. But no, it sounds quite curious. I know a few friends who are in electricians programs actually.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I got a friend, Matt and Jack, that are both doing it. But I'm curious. You said there would be things that you'd be quite into and things that you really wouldn't be into. What's like the bad line for an electrician?
There's this thing called like slab work, which is where you're building usually a high rise, so like a condo apartment stuff, and you're on the new floor that's going up, and you're running all the conduit where the wires need to go in, right? So you're kind of attaching all the electrical boxes with these pipes, and you're doing that in any type of weather because it's fully exposed, right? So in the snow, in the scorching heat, I was working on the top level this heat wave, and oh my goodness, like to say I was sweating is such an understatement. It was just constant. It was like I was swimming in my sweat. It was absolutely ridiculous. I would hate to do that for the rest of my life. Just absolutely hate that.
That's fair enough. That sounds like a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, it's also pretty backbreaking because you're like bent over, reaching out your feet all day long. So not very sustainable.
Not it.
No. But then there's other stuff where you're inside a building, doing things most people would assume an electrician does, like putting in light switches and outlets and stuff like that, which is probably more what I would want to do. A
Yeah.
little bit less exposed to the weather.
A little less industrial.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's curious. I learned something today. Always very nice. To take it back to training, I'm curious if you have any training goals you're looking to reach. Is there any like benchmarks that you really want to hit in the future?
Hmm. Um, I don't know. I don't really have any specific goals, I guess. Um, Actually, no, I take that back. I want to eventually get my splits. I'm really far away from it and have been really far away from it for a long time, but I'm seeing progress and I'd love to be able to do that. Mostly to prove my sister wrong because she doesn't think I can make it. But um, yeah, that's probably one of my biggest goals because flexibility is like one of my biggest weaknesses. So, yeah.
One of. What would you say is your biggest weakness then?
Well, that is probably my biggest weakness, but I guess the next one would probably be like big dynamic coordination dynos, um, especially because I just don't get to train them that much. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's rare to find setting with very competitive style moves,
Very true. Very true.
and even harder for people to set it because I'd imagine for a commercial gym, it gets lost on most people.
That is true. Yeah. It's kind of tough to be a gym owner and set for like two camps of people, right? You have the beginner climbers who want like easier climbs naturally, which is perfectly fine. We were all there once, right? And then you have the hardcore climbers who are going there like 3, 4, 5 times a week and want the hardest climbs out there. And so you can only set so many climbs. So I understand.
For sure, and especially here since we're so close to Squamish, there's a lot of people that are outrageously good at climbing that pull up to the gym just all the time. So
Yeah.
definitely a diverse crowd and a diverse set. But I don't know. As far as I can tell, the Hive does a good job setting very difficult things, though they're often like very different in style.
Yeah.
Like some of the harder like fives and sixes might be very easy for one person but very difficult for someone else just because of how they're set.
That is very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge to make climbs that work for everybody, but everyone's different, so you can't really do that.
Exactly. You want to be a route setter, don't you?
I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd be
Yeah.
great part-time work.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be your one of your biggest dilemmas is what climbs to make, right?
Oh, definitely. I have no idea what I'm doing, so it would be a lot of fun to learn. I feel like I just end up setting a lot of moonboard style problems. It's just like a few small holds up the wall and like climb it.
Oh, you're evil.
It's my favorite. But no, it would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun to set climbs. I think that would be an amazing thing. Like what a
Yeah.
fucking job. Pull up in the morning, make some climbs.
Yeah, it sounds so chill.
Totally. Okay, I have some more questions for you, Sam.
All right.
Not gonna let you get off that easy. What what would you say is your biggest strength as a climber?
I'd probably say like my just natural strength and like my genetics, I guess. I was really lucky to just kind of be born with like raw strength, which has been really helpful, I guess. Like I don't want to brag, but it's it's really nice to be able to climb and have a baseline that is higher than most people. And like that doesn't mean I don't have to work because when you're at a comp level, everyone has to train. So I'm still behind in quite a lot of different strength related things that I still need to work on. But yeah, I'd say that's my strength.
Strength is strength.
Yeah.
It's a good strength to have by any stretch of the imaginations. For stuff you need to work on, would you say it's mostly antagonistic? So like chest, shoulders, stuff like that.
Yeah. And also finger strength, especially now more than ever since I've taken the break over the summer. But yeah, antagonistic and finger strength stuff.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
as far as like your training PRs go, how are you hanging on your fingers doing like one arm pull ups? What are you doing at like peak training?
Um, yeah, normally we do like one arm hangs on the smallest crimps we can hold, and then the slopiest slopers and the smallest pinches, or the slopiest pinches, I guess. Uh, yeah, I got some pretty crazy small crimps way back when I was really strong. But yeah, I can't even remember the size because they're not marked on the holds, but I don't have any numbers for you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Numbers are always fun. Would it be some of the holds that Christian made?
Yeah, at the North Shore is usually where we do our hanging. So uh, that's if you've ever been there, it's pretty. He has a very big selection of stuff. It's really nice for training because you can like slowly get worse and worse instead of jumping down like a couple millimeters, right? So it's really good for training.
It's got those boards all dialed in. It is
Yes.
very cool. Did you ever get any made to your fingers?
Oh yeah, those ones. No, I haven't.
What are you doing, Hive?
I know. Like, I mean, if we did that for all the Swarm team and like the ambassadors and stuff, we'd need like a whole nother room. So
Yeah. I guess there's a big community that the Hive is invested in training, right?
yeah, quite a big one.
I guess about the ambassador team, is there any ambassadors that you really look up to, or have you found value through the program, or is it just kind of something that's been going on next to you?
Kind of something that's been going on next to me, but actually one of the ambassadors is also my coach. One of my coaches, Ivan Lowe or Ivan Liu. I'm sorry, Ivan. I forget how to pronounce your last name. I feel very bad. But I'm sure if you're into the local scene or even the national scene, really, you know him. He's a beast, really, and also one of my inspirations. He and Injuring Yourself, they train together. They're both on the ambassadors, or all on the ambassadors, and yeah, he's one of my role models for sure.
Whoa. I didn't realize he helped train the Swarm team.
Yeah, he's a really great coach.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I've seen him around doing all the 6Xs in the gym and being like, how do I even
Yeah.
can't even understand. Isn't he competing for France? I've seen him wearing a French national team jersey, but I could just be wrong.
Yeah, that's a kind of confusing thing because I've heard the people on like the world stage, they just like trade jerseys for fun. So it's really funny. Just you see a random climber from Canada who's wearing like a Germany jersey and like, what the heck? Where do you get that from? But yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't think he climbs for France.
Damn. Couldn't be climbing for my country. But I mean, I get it. French are a little out there sometimes. I doubt they'd give a random Canadian French team like.
Really?
I don't know. Well, I think Sean McCall competed it for France.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. But he's also French.
I also did not know that.
At the very least, he's bilingual. But as far as I remember, God, it's been a while since I looked into that. I'm curious about your team training. How long do you usually spend in a session, and how many sessions a week do you guys go at it?
Yeah, typical session is like around 3 hours. Excuse me, sorry. And usually about 4 times a week. Different weeks we change it up depending if we're doing something different, like a mock competition or some league climbing at the Richmond Oval. Usually about 4 times a week.
Damn, that's 12 hours a week, most weeks.
Yeah.
And do you do any training at home to supplement that?
I don't. I've been wondering about starting some extra hangboarding just because I feel like I've been lacking from the summer. But I've been told not to add too much because it'd be too much for my body to handle, honestly. So, no, just the sessions.
So no stretching at home?
I do stretch. I forgot about that.
So Obviously, flexibility is a big part of climbing.
Yes. Very
Annoyingly
much.
so.
And very annoyingly so. I hate stretching.
Yeah, there's something about it, just like dull pain, but it is an important thing to do. Do you have a routine or like things that you really enjoy for stretching? Have there been like specific things that you found that work well for you?
Yeah, I have kind of a set routine. I go through like the stuff you would assume, like the front splits and the side splits and like all the hip stuff. Um, Also like some shoulder mobility stuff like that. Um, yeah, and some particular stuff that I like. My back is really uh, acting up recently, so I have some stretches for that. But yeah,
All right.
pretty good routine.
Yeah. It's good to get in the routine of it for sure. Um, the hips are so important for climbing.
Yeah.
Shakira is always right when she said that the hips don't lie. Uh, it's a powerful thing, but I guess especially for beginner climbers who might not put this together. But why is being in control over your hips so important?
Yeah. The main thing is being able to keep your body, especially your hips, close to the wall, because what that does is it keeps your like center of gravity more over your feet, which helps you um, stay on the wall better. Really, especially for slab, it's extremely important because like if you're stepping on these small feet or like slippery holds, and you're doing like some crazy thumb presses, like you want to be able to stand on your feet and not rely on your thumb strength to hold you on the wall, right? It's like if you think about it, if you're on a slab and you're like hanging on, and your body's like your chest is way out here, and you're holding on like this, that's gonna be way harder to hold unless you're really close to the wall and kind of your face pressed up against the wall, right?
Yeah.
Um,
For people who don't know, because there might be people who just don't know,
right.
what is a slab?
Yes, I should add more context. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
Slab is uh, so like this is a vertical wall, right? And then this is an overhanging wall where you're climbing up this face. So a slab is going to be when it's more than vertical. Yes. So it's like you're sliding down a slippery slope. Um, and that's like where you get more of the technical climbing and balancey stuff. So
Yeah, all getting your hips in, standing on tiny little feet, and outrageous crimps that are impossible to pull on.
very much so, yeah.
But slab climbing is great. I'm curious, what's your favorite style of climbing?
Um, hmm. I would say the one that plays to my strengths. So, like overhangy compression, crimps, just really powerful moves. Um, I really like some crazy beta where you do like feet first and stuff like that. I always love those kind of climbs. I hate slab though. That's my least favorite style. Uh, it doesn't come naturally to me at all.
Yeah, that's fair. Slab is a tricky one for sure, but something about using your strength and muscling your way up some steep wall that looks half impossible and you're at the top is very satisfying. I get that.
Yeah.
It's a lovely style, and freaking compressing is so cool too. Getting to
Yeah.
use your chest and all the big muscles in your back to like squeeze the holds to generate force.
Yeah. Like when you look at the hold individually, it's like it's impossible to hold on to. But then you see another hold on the opposite side, and you're like, yes, thank goodness.
You can pull on it.
Yeah.
It's powerful stuff. I think we've gone through pretty much all the little questions I have jotted down here, really. There is, I guess, one more thing I'd love to talk about, which is, sorry, people getting into climbing.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any advice for young climbers, new climbers, people looking to improve themselves at the sport? Take it up.
Yeah. I'd say just kind of dip your foot in and go with some friends and just see how you like it. You'll probably get hooked because it's so addictive. Honestly, everyone that I've kind of introduced into it has been has just loved it. But I'd say, yeah, try to find some friends. Just do a drop in, and then if you're starting to want to get a little bit more serious, then you really want to focus on consistency, because your fingers haven't developed the calluses, your body isn't used to these crazy unnatural movements. So yeah, try to go a couple times a week and kind of make it part of your routine, and then your body will catch up. And who knows, maybe you want to go a little bit more serious and start doing some climbing specific training. I don't know.
Climbing specific training is always a tricky one.
Very, yeah. Lots of different opinions out there.
Definitely. Definitely not something to start too early.
That is true.
It's a trap to fall into for sure.
Yeah. Don't hang board or campus when you're a beginner, please. You're just going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, no, got to give yourself a good, like, maybe half year to just accumulate hours on the wall. Like, get your body ready to the strain. Very easy to injure yourself. I've done that. Stupid thing to do. Too much hangboarding and injured my fingers. So you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful out there. But I think that's it. I think we recorded a podcast now.
I think we did.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for doing this again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's very unfortunate that I have no idea what I'm doing, so the tech didn't turn out the first time. But
hey, we got to do it again though, so it's fine.
That's great. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go turn things off.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, I totally forgot a question.
Oh, we're gonna add another question in?
Are you gonna add this one? Yeah, we should. All right, we're not done yet.
Okay. What's the question?
What do your eating habits look like?
Being called out. Not great. That's another thing I'm thankful for, because of my genetics and my metabolism. But somehow I've been able to squeak by this far with not eating very healthily, and also not as much as I should have or should be, especially before a comp. Sorry, coaches. But yeah, not enough veggies. I eat enough fruit. Just too much like grains and like cereal and stuff like that, like pasta. But I could definitely diversify it a lot and make it a little bit more healthy, I think.
All right. So what's your favorite meal?
A favorite meal? I don't really have a specific favorite meal, to be honest. I don't know. That's too much pressure. I can't think of one.
How about what's your favorite color?
Like a nice forest green, I guess.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Sam.